Hello everyone, I'm Camilla Humphreys, Frontline Advisor for Southern Victoria, here today with Tom Phillips, Orchard Manager for Armour's Apples here in Nilma. We're going to be discussing orchard management practices to improve soil health and to address apple replant disease. Biofumigants are one of many orchard management practices used to improve soil health. They include brassicas, which are planted as cover crops, and they have glucosinolate compounds which when macerated release isothiocyanates, which impart a biocidal effect on pathogens in the soil, very similar to methane sodium. There are particular cultivars selected for their various purposes: Caliente 199 for fungal disease and Rocket Nemat for nematode control. There are various benefits involved with using biofumigants, including improved nutrient holding capacity, improved soil structure, and weed control, as well as a biocidal agent on soil pathogens. So on to the first question with Tom. Tom, what practices have you adopted to improve soil health here at Armour's Apples?
We don't do a lot specifically for soil health. However, a number of things we do also help the soil health. So gypsum that we apply to a fair extent for extra calcium availability to reduce bitter pit also helps soil structure, and also maintaining the grass sward between the rows throughout the year does help support the soil health underneath. And after we clear a block and before developing a new block, we make sure we maintain a grass water, a cover over the soil the whole time.
Terrific. I've also surveyed a number of growers in Southern Victoria, and some of the practices they've adopted is the use of mustards, which are ploughed back into the soil, and the use of perennials, which are planted in the interrows to improve competition against weeds. Some use bioinoculants, including trichoderma with chemical fumigant chloropicrin, and some cultivation practices also involve deep ripping to allow further root penetration without disturbing the soil too much. Tom, what are some current soil health and soil-borne disease problems you can identify which have a significant impact on orchard productivity?
Like persistent soil disease, soil-borne disease, Phytophthora, which continues to be an issue sporadically around the orchard, in particularly some wetter spots and on the susceptible rootstocks. You have the odd trees peeling over from it.
And that's particularly attributed to wet soils?
Yeah, particularly wet, waterlogged, poorly drained areas.
Yeah, Phytophthora is a universal problem in old and new plantings, and it's particularly hard to isolate in a pre-plant situation where there is no host. Some methods used involve baiting and genetic sequencing tests to isolate it, and some species identified in orchard apple crops are Phytophthora cactorum, Cambivore and cinnamon. There is potential for an industry-wide screening trial to identify those specific pathogens associated with apple replant disease, and that will help for ongoing industry research. Apple replant disease is a widespread problem, and particularly in high density plantings with a high turnover of apples. The exact cause has not been identified, rather a complex of different pathogenic organisms, including Phytophthora, Pythium, Rhizoctonia and root lesion nematodes. And the management approach is not yet targeted because it's a complexity of pathogens and there is difficulty in screening. Chloropicrin is a pre-plant fumigant that's widely used for apple replant disease management, and it's commonly applied in combination with other fumigants such as toluene and isothiocyanate. The positives of using it, it has a short half-life of a day. And so what are some other benefits, Tom, in using chloropicrin?
Yeah, we use chloropicrin on all our replanted orchard areas. We find that it's really valuable in giving a reliable and consistent growth on the new blocks. Without using it, you can certainly get a more patchy growth in areas where the trees just don't don't flourish. They'll continue to grow, but just you don't get anything like the growth out of them. So using it, more reliable, consistent and faster growth, particularly over that first couple of years.
And what are some of the labour requirements involved with using chlorpicrin?
So primarily, well, we use a contractor to do it all. They have to be a licensed contractor to apply the chlorpicrin. So they do it as a bundle. Last time we did it, I think we were up around $10,000 a hectare for treating the area.
Aside from chlorpicrin, some other orchardists have used alliate and bioinoculants, but haven't proven to have a consistent outcome. Another grower is getting good results from using biofumigants and high dosages of lime. One study has shown that lime usage has increased trunk cross-sectional area, which has a positive correlation with potential yields. There are particular rootstocks that are resistant to apple replant disease, some including Cornell Geneva series, with the exception of G13. And Mailing Merton and Northern Spry are particularly susceptible. Tom, what rootstocks do you use here in almonds?
All of our newest plantings have been on M9, a little bit of M26, going back a little bit further with primarily M26, going back again, Ottawa 3, Mark, and going back even further, we've still got some stuff on M7 and M111.
Yeah, so you think there's good potential with the Geneva series?
Yes. So, yeah, whilst we have been, all the newer stuff has been on M9, the Geneva series, it looks like there's a lot of promise. I'm particularly just having a look at G41 looks very good if it's available. But I think reproduction of it can be an issue.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tom. And in summary, it's clear that chlorpicrin is a very effective common soil fumigant for apple replant disease. And some growers are using biofumigants, but it really depends on the situation as to which is most effective treatment. I'm doing a series of research on the topic, and we'll be coming up with some orchard management practices and some guidelines to address the industry-wide problem. So thank you very much, Tom,
no problem,
for your time today, and thank you to all the Southern Victorian orchardists who have helped with the survey. Bye for now.
Yep.